Good morning, everyone. Good evening, according to your time zone. Here's Tibor, CMO of Eccentex. I really appreciate you joining us today for this live webinar, where we're going to discuss how we support customers to implement an AI-assisted email and case management solution, which is tightly integrated with Genesys contact center solutions. And we have a co-speaker here, Maksim Gill, Vice President of Product. And we're going to guide you through on this with less PowerPoint and more live demo supported way. And I'd like to start just to very quickly introduce what Eccentex is doing together with Genesys. We are basically the only one embedded dynamic case management platform in Genesys, which can be inserted into the Genesys omnichannel desktop in a standard iframe, which means that the experience of the agents and also the customers through that, it will be absolutely seamless. So even the agents will not really recognize that they are leaving the Genesys platform and working inside in the Eccentex Hyper Automation Cloud platform, because they are virtually seems like one single solution. That's a unique differentiator for us. So how we deliver these experiences together, we are split the responsibility to doing the four crucial things together. We are assigning the resources based on the time when it's need to be assigned to whoever need to be assigned a case or a task or any type of work items, which is the responsibility of Genesys, which means that the omni-channel part, that's channel management, the inbound interactions, and also the assignment routing of cases task. It's the Genesys responsibility to Genesys Cloud CX. And the Eccentex embedded in the Genesys desktop is responsible for who is doing what and how. And it means that the Eccentex is responsible for the processes, for the procedures, for the business rules and so on, and also, let's say, classifications, prioritization, and everything which need to be done to properly handle a case or a task. And the unique differentiator of this joint solution is we are jointly delivering an end-to-end omnichannel customer experiences, which includes the omni-channel engagements and the omni-process engagement capabilities. So regardless in which unit the agents are, regardless of what kind of data or procedures they need to work on, we are always providing the same unique omni-channel experiences across a single unified desktop. So one of the most important feature of this platform is that this is including also the legacy platform of the Genesys solution. So it means that our integrations does not end at Genesys Cloud CX. It's also including Genesys Engage, regardless if it's on-prem or on cloud, and also including the legacy platforms like Genesys Pure Connect. And it's also adding a low-code, no-code application development platform to the Genesys capabilities. So whatever is developed, it can be further developed with a very easy, not really IT support needed way, which means that even the users can edit and adjust their workflow or create new procedures very easily through WYSIWYG editors. And of course, we are incorporating the extension to the IWD, the intelligent workload distribution mechanism, and also adding new features to it. We can do very similar things like the legacy product of Genesys, the Conversation Manager did. We can automate further the workflows. We can add the knowledge and document management. It's all supported with AI features. So what Genesys Cloud strengths are, we're just not replacing any of them. Actually, we are adding new features to it. And that's why we are jointly able to deliver the end-to-end experiences. And also we can add operational CRM, process-centric service automation features, As I mentioned, the document and the knowledge management is fully embedded and automated, and we are adding a different capability of the AI. But Genesys is more responsible for the conversational AI and bot experiences. We are adding the process automation and generative AI capabilities to this mix. Just to remember before the demo, what are the key core capabilities of the Eccentex platform, what is added on the existing Genesys Cloud CX platform, the operational CRM, the dynamic case management, including task distribution, and an advanced email automation, which is an enterprise-grade solution. It's including the workflow automation, tight integration between the email system and the dynamic case management. We have a smart knowledge base. Why it's smart? Because it's embedding intuitive AI features which automate the agent and the user experiences. We have the unified customer 360 desktop, as we are able to pull data from various systems, business intelligence systems, CRM systems, any kind of systems where the customer's data are stored. We are adding AI-assisted self-service portal where the customer is able to see the procedures, the handling of their cases, the current status, and so on. And we also adding the document management features is also embedded in our platform, but we are able to connect to third-party document management systems like OpenText, ECM, and so on. So, and it's all supported with Eccentex AI services, which include 27 distinct AI capabilities, which is embedded in the platform, and all supporting email automation, document management automation, prioritization, PII, personal information masking, and so on, and a lot of other features, but you will see the details on the demo. And of course, we are able to connect this system through platform level open API to any other systems, which communicates to the standard interfaces. And here at this point, I would like to hand over the demo to Max. I will stop sharing, Max, and you can share your screen.
All right, thank you, everybody. I'll share my screen here for a second. So, this presentation is going to be very focused around the Genesys environment, what value we bring to the Genesys environment here. And so what we really do is provide a task management, case management, CRM, help desk system to Genesys natively within this environment. So unlike many other systems that work with Genesys, where Genesys is just a side piece to it, perhaps a little widget of the Genesys call center within your ticketing system, we do the opposite. We embed our technology right into the Genesys desktop, which gives you a lot of benefits in terms of getting all the benefit, all the telemetry and all the other benefits of the Genesys desktop, ability to handle multiple calls at the same time, ability to see different apps inside of the same desktop, all the productivity tools that Genesys spent millions of dollars building, we take advantage of them. So here's an example of a use case where a customer emails a technical support question to a department, and we see a rich email help desk solution right inside of Genesys. And so what we do is we actually capture the email ourselves, and we convert that email into a case. A case is like a very rich ticket. Think of like a Zendesk or a Jira ticket. This is just a more, rich functionality type, more flexible type of interface for that. So our email case in this situation has all the tools that an agent may need to respond to that customer inquiry. So there's a lot of things that that help the Genesys agents better understand what the context of the question is. A lot of AI goes into all of this to help with triage and categorization. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's look at this example specifically. So a customer has emailed the technical support saying they want to migrate from a Samsung to an iPhone, and they have a couple of questions. And this is a 18-big question to, let's say, an AT&T or other telecom. And so they have multiple questions here. Am I able to to transfer photos? Blah blah. Plus, they also do other things like add their credit card number here because they're having trouble ordering the phone from the website. So they would like, for some reason, a customer service agent to do something that really shouldn't be done. But this person perhaps, for a mistake, and end up putting their credit card number into the system. And a couple of addresses here. And so there's a lot going on here. Our AI engine takes this email body before it gets converted to a case and does a bunch of things. First, identifies the urgency of this. And this is a high urgency because they would like the phone to be delivered by November 30th, and it's already November 29th. So this is already something that's coming up. We are able to do language detection here, as well as translate to over 100 other languages here using a neural network. And this all helps with triage to make sure the right people are working on this case. Summarize either the original customer request or the entire thread. So as a conversation evolves between an agent and a customer, a lot more information is going to be, a lot more questions may surface that weren't in the original email. And so we are able to summarize both on an individual level as well as the entire conversation, and the basic things like sentiment analysis, again, to help with prioritization and perhaps to get the agent ready. Further down the line goes things like very business specific type of categorization and triaging. So here we've extracted the various entities that are involved within this conversation. So here we have the people involved here. We know the customer, Pat Thompson, for some reason Sarah Thompson is here as well. Contact information, addresses, organizations, products. All of these things have been extracted and are used both by the agent to help quickly understand what the conversation is about, as well as help automated triaging, since all of this can be used to go to the right product team or to the right level tier of support. We also have kind of advanced capabilities here like PII, personal identifiable information detection and redaction. So if somebody does send in their credit card numbers, their driver's license, passport number, or something else, we have the option to redact it before it actually gets to the agent. And so we have it right here. Using all this information, we're tagging the case. And you can see this is just tags about this case. As the conversation evolves within the threads here, we are able to add more and more tags here. Now, again, these tags are used for a variety of reasons. One is automated triaging. Second is for post-reporting and aggregation. So if you want to understand further down the line, over the last couple of months, what were my top type of inquiries? You can see all that here through a reporting tool I'm going to show you in a second. In addition to all this information that we have here, Tibor mentioned our smart knowledge base. And the reason it's smart is because it is able to take the context of the case where this knowledge base widget is embedded in and is able to surface the knowledge articles that are most relevant to that use case. So we know about what the customer's asking, but we also know more about the customer in general because we have, as part of our product, a CRM system. And so we are able to know that this person has these types of products. We know that they're located in this type of region, and therefore it doesn't make sense for us to surface an article about the hours of operations for the AT&T stores in Washington if they are located in Idaho. So we have, all these things here. And, this is our own knowledge-based system. It's very comprehensive, and it provides ability to also integrate with different systems and can really leverage as either a standalone knowledge-based system or as one embedded right into this. So in terms of how this is all integrated with Genesys, as you can see, its screen pops right into the Genesys desktop. So when a new conversation occurs, our system will, when a new email comes in, our system will pick it up and will either create a new case or attach it to an existing case and then route it to Genesys. And so a customer service agent sitting in Genesys will just receive this screen pop to them just like a phone call or a chat or anything like that. It's completely seamless. They may not even know they're working within the Eccentex app. It's all very integrated. They can handle multiple emails and conversations at once. You can barge in. So if if a user is working on a email that's medium priority and a phone call comes in as high priority, they can barge in there and screen pop that. So all those advantages that Genesys offers, the fact that we embed right into Genesys provides you all of those capabilities that are necessary for a medium to large size contact center. I mentioned that we have a lot of AI here. So one of the cool things we have is a reply all email thing. So as an agent is looking at all of this, they will most likely need to reply to something. And so we have a good authoring tool provides, many features that you expect of an authoring tool. But along with AI, we also have the generate AI response capability here. So we can train a large language model against your knowledge base, your existing policies and procedures and the product information, as well as combine that with the general knowledge of an existing large language model system like a ChatGPT-like technology. And so what we can do here is we can give the system a prompt to provide a sample response to the customer's inquiry. So here I'm saying answer the customer's questions, and because I ordered their iPhone somewhere else already, I will, through the system, I already have a UPS tracking number and I want that to be embedded in email. So I can just generate response and it will very quickly generate a sample response here. And you can write it, give it more instructions if you want to have links or provide detailed instructions which you want to respond to. And this would all be right here. So this provides a lot of other capabilities such as providing a response in different languages, which can also be helpful if you're running a multinational support organization. You may not have a customer service agent who speaks a specific language or they are busy. So you can have the person first read the email here in whatever language that's most convenient for them, and they can respond here as well, or have the system translate whatever it is they wrote here in English or whatever language they're working with. Okay, so very comprehensive. All this information, these are all managed here as conversations within Genesys. So all the performance statistics and all the other stuff that you may already be leveraging within Genesys reports and performance would all feed right into that. So you don't have to have a separate whole strategy for those type of things. Now, part of the additional items here is the CRM. So as we are receiving emails or chats or phone calls, our system has a built-in CRM system similar to a Genesys external contact system, except providing a true CRM experience, typically for service-centric use cases. So this is our CRM. It provides a 360-degree view of the customer that you are speaking to. So this, you can see, member details. You can see all their, fun stuff, all the products that we can. This information can either live within our system, or you can feed that information into here from an external system like a SAP or the billing system or your order management system or whatever it is you want. You can feed that in here. You can see all the account information here as well, which you can also configure to your specific business. I've configured this just for a Costco style retail business, but you can easily do that for whatever company you work with. and I can show you how that's done, but it's very extensible and customizable here. So everything you see, everything you see here is all through there. And so you can see all their, pretty much anything you want about this, along with offers like AI-driven recommendations or next best actions. When a phone call comes in, we also have the option of screen popping this customer profile page. So if an email comes in, you may have an interface like this. A chat or a phone call comes in, we will instead screen pop this type of UI right into the Genesys desktop. So you get that rich customer look and feel, regardless of the channel that you're working with on Genesys. From a an email standpoint or any type of, once you're inside of a Eccentex page here to screen pop, you can do things like create additional cases. So during the conversation, you may have different, the customer may have a complaint. They might want to file, and they also want a refund. And so you can start kind of creating these cases right here. And these cases can either be automatically resolved, or resolved by the agent working on them right now, or if it's a more complex type of case that requires a follow-up, this case will go into a back office type of queue, and this back office work can be done outside of Genesys, but is visible to all the Genesys agents. So here we, we're just kind of finishing up here. We have a lot of other capabilities that are very specific to Genesys. So one important thing is the ability to see all the conversations. So outside of the Genesys, there's a special portal for supervisors or for back office workers that give you insights into how the Genesys operation looks like that you're working with. So you can, as a supervisor, you can log in and you can see all the conversations that have been created are related to the Eccentex platform. So any emails, any phone calls, anything, if you integrate with our product, you can pretty much see all the conversations here in this very searchable report that's real time here. So right from here, I can do things like transfer this conversation to another queue. I can reassign this agent. I can force disconnect. So I have a lot of supervisor capabilities here that may not be that transparent within the Genesys environment, but this is all very customizable. So if you want to have a special type of set of actions for your Genesys environment, you can configure them here as well. And you can search across very easily. If you want to say, all the conversations that are currently in this queue or are involved these set of agents or relate to this case or whatever you want, you can do that super quickly here. You can then enter any of these conversations and you can see what cases or what customers related to. You can actually open those CRM pages, those cases, those emails that were related to that conversation. So you can kind of backtrack and see, everyone who was involved in this. You can see the context, which gives you the list, what case this was involved with, the customers involved with, all that more good stuff, and the entire history of that conversation. So you can see, why was this conversation initiated, who answered it, and who disconnected with what wrap-up code. You can see all that right through here. We also have more of an advanced reporting tool that gives you a more of a holistic view of your Genesys help desk or case management system. So this is all very customizable to your use case, but we come with a few out of the box pre-canned reports and dashboards that are helpful for your Genesys contact center. And these include things like, the cases created, last 2 months, all these very nice widgets you can then, filter down with and things like that. So a very rich type of reporting capabilities here. In terms of how all this is configured, so the thing that separates us from some of the other vendors is that everything you see here is customizable, configurable to your exact use case. So all the buttons up here all of the actions, the tabs, the information that you're shown about the customer, the type of cases that you can create, the sub cases you can create, or the routing rules, or what AI is doing is all configurable from within our setup pages here. So let me give you an example of how the customer service model, the customer data model is configured. So this is the customer data model that you saw when I showed the customer the CRM page for that customer. We modeled the entire customer right here as relational tables here that may or may not, whose data may or may not exist within our system. So I have a party, a customer here, and I have all their contact information, their social media things that we handle within our product. You can see that, the phone numbers, the various columns that are involved within these tables. But then they also have sales orders and restaurant reservations. So we say, which columns are available within this system, what they're related to, but we don't necessarily need to keep that. We don't necessarily have to have that data within our system. This is just modeling how this data looks like, but the data may live in a different system like SAP or IBM or somewhere else. And so we have a tool of synchronizing this data back and forth between your core system and here. And the reason that's important is because if you do model it here as any other object, then you're able to create things like forms around this, or you can create detail pages around all of this. And so you can see all the fields that you've configured here about your customer. They're all available here within the detail pages, within the search grids, reports, all these things. Just because you've modeled it there, we're able to then consume that information. And so what would happen is that typically your, the partner or IT team would configure, this type of data model, and then the business can go leverage it for whatever needs they may have. Okay. So when I talked about the case management, task management side of all of this, we are truly a comprehensive case management, task management system. So this, what you've seen here, is an email case, but it may as well be a help desk inquiry for that, where a case is initiated from a poor customer portal, or it could be a fraud investigation case, or a claims case where somebody creates a claim, and then these tasks, like a claim adjuster or a claim review person is sitting in Genesys, and we route them a non-real-time piece of back office work. And so when we create these cases for people, like complaints or something, then these have to be processed by, not a Genesys immediate call, but still by agents who are, let's say, having downtime in between real-time calls. You can route all these various tasks to these agents, and they will also see those tasks right here. So those of you interested in, let's say, a alternative to IWD, or are waiting on more advanced task management capabilities, we provide that functionality out of the box for you. So, going back to some of the other configurations here, we have a lot of capabilities around how we actually integrate with Genesys. So we are very deeply, we're probably the most deeply integrated case management and ticketing CRM system for Genesys across all of their product lines. So whether it's Engage or Pure Connect or Cloud, we have a lot of things here. So we can say, when a call is handled, what do I want to do? Do I want to show them a customer detail page, or I want to do something else? If I have a chat, what do I do if I don't find, if the customer doesn't exist in my CRM, what do I do? So all of these capabilities are all configured right from here very conveniently. And it further shows up here as an app, as a App Foundry Premium app. And so this means that it's all managed through the Genesys environment, and it's very convenient for to onboard users, and you don't have to install anything. It's not really all that difficult to do. So this is the comprehensive capabilities of our product here. We have a couple of other interesting capabilities that are just coming out, specifically around, let's say, a solution inventor or other convenient ways for you to configure our product out of the box. And so, as I showed you the configurations, we have workflow builders, we have many other tools here that provide you capabilities to build a use case specific to you. But one thing that we found is that we can use AI to actually generate a initial MVP version of your entire solution right from our setup here. So I can say, I can write a lot here, but I just wrote here, I'm creating a complaints case management system for a clothing retailer. And what this has done is actually has created for me an initial MVP of my solution. So it has created me a case type, where I can have multiple case types, but in this situation, create only one. There's a product quality complaint, which automatically creates you the workflows for our system, the resolution codes, the form fields, the people involved, which then become your CRM systems, or your internal systems like that. Then we have the set of reports, product complaints, reports, all these complaints are specific to your use case. We automatically generate those as well. And we also have, email templates and a bunch of other things that are very useful for your, exact situation here. And then once these are created, you can go and you can modify these inside of inside of the standard setup tools. So just quickly switching gears here, I want to show another little example here. This is also a case. This is called a DBQ lifecycle case. It's similar to like a benefits request type of case. And this is a more comprehensive case management system built on the exact same platform. And you can see this can also be embedded right into Genesys. So when I was talking about the ability for us to screen pop non-real-time work to agents or people sitting within the Genesys environment, this is what I was talking about. You can actually have very comprehensive cases. They're not a phone call, it's not an email, not a chat. They get routed to these people. And so this is, again, configured completely in our product. You can see that there's a vast difference in how this case looks like as compared to the email help desk use case. So all the same platform, this demonstrates that we have a lot of customization capabilities that can fit your exact use case. So in this situation, I'm just going to, I can show you everybody who's involved in this case. I can see all the tasks related to this case. So within the Genesys world, we can route these tasks individually. We can route the entire case to agents, or we can route individual tasks, subtasks that are related to this case. And so the reason I'm showing you this case outside of Genesys is because this case can be screen popped inside Genesys, but similarly, back office workers have access to the exact same case. So you don't need to be a Genesys user to have access to this system. If you're, let's say, a back office employee or a supervisor who's not typically working within the contact center, but are nonetheless involved in the processes, you can also have it here. We have our own built-in inbox here, queuing system for back office. And the tasks here are very comprehensive. You can see that they have their own SLAs here. They have state models. So you can see who's the owners of all these things. Ultimately, we come with a lot of capabilities here that may be useful for you, seeing, let's say, an entire audit of how a case was resolved across multiple conversations. So if you have a case that's long running that involves calling back and forth between a customer multiple times, emails, really get that omni-channel experience to resolve that customer journey, you can see that entire history of of this, why was this case created? When was the first time the customer got in contact with the agents? What steps were taken by the agent? When was the second time they called back? And all this is audited here. This then can have all sorts of benefits of reporting and reactions and, a bunch of other stuff. A lot of other cool capabilities like document management here that we're loading here that gives you all the images or any documents that the customer may have sent, all available through here as well. So really enriching that Genesys environment here with all these CRM and case management. What the alternative we've seen other customers have, but they don't have a system that's unified like ours, is they'll have maybe 5 or 6 different separate systems running, and agents are literally just have 6 different browser tabs, or also a thick client on their computer installed, and they're clicking between a bunch of apps, copy pasting things, looking things up. They have to. The customer may be identified by Genesys, but then have to go to 5 different systems and copy paste that customer's account number and try to find them. And it all adds up. It all adds up in terms of time, and the ability to make a mistake adds up. So something that we really want to avoid here, and which is why we provide this unified type of view. So, as we discussed, the unified views can be configured right from the setup things. What we didn't talk about is the ability to configure the workflows as well. So there's a lot of configurations here. It's all, there's probably hundreds of various configurations that are super useful for making sure you get the exact things you need, from letter email templates to triage rules to rule builders and a lot of fun stuff here. But you have, let's say, workflows right here. So you can say, here I have the workflow of a case coming in, and this is, a full view of what the case lifecycle may look like. It's a pretty complex one. And you have events here like, all right, when this case is at the client gathering records, I want to send this to Genesys. All right, what queue do I send it to? What skill sets? What else do I want to do here? And so it becomes very intuitive here. And then you can say, okay, let's say this case has not been picked up or resolved within a time frame of 3 hours or 4 hours. What happens next? Well, I can reassign that case. I can change the case priority. I can send an email notifications to my manager. You can kind of start creating these type of business use cases right through here, and everything you see here is, we're very well integrated with Genesys and provide a lot of reporting capabilities back to Genesys. So you really get that comprehensive system for all of this. In terms of other interesting types of configurations here, you may have a rule builder here. A lot of rule builders. This is just specific one for email, but it works for any type of case. When email comes in, I want to say that if the language is English, but the sentiment is negative, and the customer or the patient in this use case is in network, then I want to do the following things, including things like send this case to this queue. So you can also start triaging on the email body or the case content as well. So, a lot of, I want to finalize here that everything here is really based on a deep integration to Genesys. So you have the benefits of a very flexible low-code case management and CRM system that can be run completely on its own or deeply embedded within Genesys, providing a lot of benefits that you may not get from other systems. So finally, how this is offered. So this is a App Foundry Premium app. Depending on the use cases, there's multiple, tiers of what features you want to have, but the deployments of this solution are fairly quick. and they can be start off if you're still on Engage or Pure Connect and you want to start from there, and then you want to migrate to Genesys Cloud, let's say in a year, you can actually have our system running similarly the way you have it running in Genesys, kind of running similarly to Engage or Pure Connect. And then when the time is right, when you're ready to migrate, you just make the switch over to Genesys Cloud. So there's a migration path that's fairly simple that lets you start taking advantage of the Eccentex technology right now, get used to it, complete all the necessary steps to get it embedded into your business processes. And then when you're finally ready to do the migration to Genesys Cloud, it's a rather seamless type of migration. So your agents will get pretty much the exact same experience as they did with Engage. All right. I think that's it for my time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Max. It was an amazing demo as always. And if you allow me to share my screen, I'll just quickly show how the customers or prospects can reach out us. And here at Eccentex, we are always concerned to give you feedback to any questions you may have. So if you have any, feel free to reach out us. You can visit our website. You can follow us on LinkedIn. You can watch our demos or call our sales team directly or contact even our marketing team if you need any support. So of course, this webinar is recorded. So and we will share the link back. So if you're not able to attend or you'd like to review the webinar, you will get a link and you will go to our YouTube channel when this webinar will be enabled. Thank you so much for participating today. And as I said, if you have any further question or would like to organize a more detailed tailored demo, which is specifically fit for your organization or your company needs, do not hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks. Bye.
Take